On this episode of Grimm Realities, we're going to talk about learn to code. Guess what? It's a meme. Don't do it. Hi, this is Grimm. Welcome to Grimm Realities. Anybody remember back in like 9 to 11, something, where people were talking about, oh, well, there's just a new economy. And, everyone should just learn to code. But there are a whole bunch of coding boot camps that popped up around that same time period, based mainly around the mean stack. I'm going to talk to you about the mean stack if you don't know what it is. First off, what's a stack? A stack is a stack of technology that you use to build whatever it is you're building, right? So there's something called the LAMP stack, which is Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP. That's very old. But then there's also the mean stack. This was like the super cool modern JavaScript application development stack that came in around 2012, 2013. And you had all these boot camps that would basically promise, hey, I'm going to teach you to get an entry-level coding job. First off, don't call it coding. Hold on, Grimm rant, please. It's programming or it's engineering. It's not coding. Anyway, you might as well call it scripting. They're going to teach you in like 6 weeks how to be a coder, and you're going to get a job. And I've actually, in my day, hired some of these people, and most of them have been garbage. Point is, they created all these boot camps and got all these people hyped on the idea that if they learned the mean stack and they could make these little sample applications, they were going to be professional programmers and they were going to enjoy their career. Well, newsflash, those people probably got jobs, found themselves in over their head, and then most of them, I would guess, ended up going back to these boot camps to become instructors because their skills didn't apply in the real world. And I'm going to talk to you about why. I'm a senior software engineer here at Cybrary. I primarily work on the front end, but I'm full stack, meaning I could build any part of the application. I've just been doing this for too long. But that comes from like hours and hours and hours and years and years and years of suffering. And that's why learn to code is a meme. Because if they're not teaching you that you're going to suffer and that you are going to question why it is that you do these things that you do and why it is that you got into this to begin with, if they're not teaching you that you're going to break mentally, then they're lying. If they're just selling it like, yeah, you're going to get to wear your favorite Jurassic Park sweatshirt and go to work and it's going to be awesome and, cool coffee mugs and free coffee, kind of selling the lifestyle. If that's what people are selling you, which they are, they're selling you an image, Grimm rant. And they're not showing you being bloodshot-eyed, literally pulling the few strands of hair that you have left out of your skull at 2 a.m, wanting to vomit at 4 a.m. as you realize that your deadline of 7 a.m. is coming up and you don't know how you're going to make this work. You've trapped yourself and there's no way to get out. If they don't show you that misery, then they're not showing you what coding is, what programming is, what engineering is. Now, come on. I can hear the YouTube commenters now. Well, that's just because you don't know what you're doing. Sure, I don't know what I'm doing. Nobody does. They're lying to you when they tell you they do. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be working in tech, because working in tech is awesome. You can work from anywhere, but you generally are getting paid better than your peers in terms of, being a barista or something. It's a cool space to be in, and you're probably set in terms of job market for the rest of your life, even if you're relatively young right now, because we're at the beginning of this information age. We're at the beginning of this total revolution that the internet is. And there's no way we're going to be tired of this and everything's going to be automated in the next 60, 70 years. It's not going to happen. There's too far to go, too much to build. If you get in now and you establish yourself, even as an entry-level professional, in 14 years, you will be a veteran. In fact, you will be such a veteran that there won't be many people that can say they have more experience than you, period, in the whole industry. So you'll be like a king or queen veteran. Coding is miserable. It's misery. It's suffering. It's cool and fun when you know what you're doing, or you can find somebody online who can tell you what to do with an example, but that's not really the job. They don't pay people to copy and paste code from GitHub and get it to run. They pay people to solve problems. And in real life, nobody's sharing with you the answer to those problems because all that code is in private repos somewhere because people aren't sharing it because it's hard work that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of programmers' time to write. So when you get really into the job, now you can be a beginner working as a junior programmer and maybe you can kind of build yourself up from there, but building yourself up is the real job. It is the failure. When I talk to people about learning, because people talk to me all the time about, oh yeah, you program your software engineer? That sounds awesome. Should I do that? Can I do that? And I basically tell them, don't do it. If you can do it, you probably already know because there's some part of you that is crazy enough to fight a computer. You'll always lose. The computer hates you. It has no feelings. But my whole moral of my rant today is that don't learn to code. It's a meme. Learn to secure. Learn cybersecurity right now. If you're wondering, if you want to get into tech, just get these skills now. There are companies dying to hire cybersecurity professionals. They don't even know what they're hiring. That's how young this industry is. They just know there's a need. And other companies are waking up every day to the real threats. Like think of how many news stories there have been in the past year alone. Forget a year. The past 3 months of hacks, of breaches, of ransomware hitting a network. Every time that happens, you have CEOs and CFOs and COOs, basically chief executives, sitting around saying, oh shit, when is that going to happen to us? And they don't know how to protect against it. They just know that it's a problem that if it does happen to them, which inevitably it will, they're fucked. They're going to lose their jobs. And they don't want to lose these jobs. You want to be in that field right now today. And that's what I tell people. That's what I tell younger people who ask me about technology and coding. I say, no, don't code, secure it. And let me tell you why. You don't have to be crazy to be doing cybersecurity. You don't. You need to know how and why to use certain applications. Yeah, so that's my rant for the day. Don't learn to code, learn to secure. It's so easy. And I'm not even just saying that because I work at Cybrary. I mean, it's why I think about it more than normal. But I was telling people before I joined here, cybersecurity is the way to go for the next 2 decades in terms of getting in. The sooner you get in, the better, because you can establish yourself as a serious veteran in the field so you can be running teams of people, training them, and no one will ever be able to catch up to your experience level. This is Grimm Realities.